Hello and welcome to eChinese Learning Pod, your go-to podcast for learning Chinese and exploring Chinese culture. To protect speakers' privacy and enhance audio quality, some or all voices in this episode are created with AI assistance.
Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Lily.
And I'm Mark. Thanks for joining us again.
Today, we're talking about something very useful, but also a little tricky. How do Chinese people say, I disagree?
Because if you learn Chinese from textbooks, you probably know this sentence, 我不同意, I disagree.
And yes, it's correct. But in real life, saying 我不同意 can sound pretty direct, sometimes even a little harsh.
Exactly. Chinese speakers often prefer softer ways to disagree. They want to express a different opinion without making the conversation feel confrontational. So today, let's look at 3 natural expressions.
First, 我不赞成. I don't agree with that.
This sounds more formal and more thoughtful than 我不同意. You'll often hear it in discussions, meetings, or debates.
For example, imagine your team suggests cutting customer support to save money. You might say, 我不赞成.
You're disagreeing, but you still sound calm and rational. It feels professional rather than emotional.
Next, a very Chinese way to disagree. 话不能这么说. You can't really say it like that.
This is interesting because you're not directly saying you're wrong.
Right. Instead, you're gently pushing back. You're saying, I think there's another way to look at this.
That's why this phrase feels softer. It leaves room for the other person to explain more.
For example, if someone says, money solves everything, you might reply, 话不能这么说.
That sounds much more natural than bluntly saying, no, you're wrong. You're disagreeing, but you still sound calm and rational. It feels professional rather than emotional.
And finally, one of the funniest expressions, 以阅不批, read but rejected.
This one is playful and a little sarcastic. It comes from formal approval language.
以阅 means I've read it, and 批 originally refers to approving documents or requests. So 不批 literally means not approving.
Nowadays, people use it humorously in work chats or daily conversations, especially when someone makes a request you don't want to accept.
Like if your friend texts, can you work for me this weekend? You might jokingly reply, 以阅不批.
It sounds funny because it makes an ordinary conversation feel like official paperwork.
And that's something you'll notice in real Chinese. Disagreement isn't always direct. Sometimes it's softer, sometimes more indirect, and sometimes surprisingly funny.
Learning these expressions helps you sound more natural and also helps you understand the emotional tone behind what people say.
All right, that's it for today, and we will see you next time.
See you!
Want to practice what you've learned today with a real Chinese teacher? You can get a free one-on-one trial lesson at eChineselearning.com. That's it for today's episode of eChinese Learning Pod. Thanks for tuning in.